Hey, it's Lori Lewis, the director, with another episode of the Before the Big Day podcast, YouTube edition. Before we get into today's episode, I'd like to remind you please subscribe to the channel and turn your notifications on so you know when a new episode is available. Also, give me a thumbs up so I know you got some really good wedding planning nuggets from this episode. This podcast is for all of you who are wedding planning, who are trying to avoid going into debt for your big day. And you need the advice from those who have firsthand knowledge and experience, those wedding industry professionals from across the country, and those real life couples who have been through what you're experiencing and want to share their testimonies. So, without further ado, enjoy. Hello, everyone. It's Lori Lewis, the director, with another episode of the Before the Big Day podcast. Excited to have someone in the guest chair today. We've reconnected from our days at Michigan State. We're both a part of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, Delta Zeta chapter at Michigan State. And I actually invited her on. Her company is Denise Lillie Engagement. She's in California. And I had her come on, or wanted her to come on the podcast to specifically talk about styled photo shoots. And if I'm saying the wrong, or just styled shoots, and how that can be a benefit to your wedding planning journey. So, first of all, welcome my soror, Denise. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Soror Lori. So nice to be here. Very excited to talk with you.
Absolutely. And we've got some collaboration coming up. We're not going to spoil it too much because it is coming up very soon. And we're very excited to just be collaborating across the industry, across states, and just really excited. It's happening in the D. So you'll hear more about that later. But Denise, just tell us a little bit about your company and what you do out in Cali and all that good stuff.
Sure. As you said, Lori, I went to Michigan State University and I focus on politics and philosophy. Did not know that it was going to take me down this path, but it definitely makes sense these days. I worked about 7 years for Senator Carl Levin in Michigan. I did a lot of community development and outreach for the city of Detroit. So it is dear to my heart and it's where I got my wedding planning roots. So I moved out to California about 10 years ago in 2011. And ever since then, I have been doing weddings.
Yeah.
I've done a little bit of corporate. I love going back to weddings because they're very emotional and dramatic, like me. So I've been doing wedding planning in some capacity. I really got my start out. My very first wedding experience was in 2004, David's Bridal. That is an experience to be a wedding consultant. And I kind of branched out into working for different bridal salons. I ended up managing a bridal salon out here in California, but I always loved doing the event side of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I started off shadowing a wedding planner and then a few, working in different aspects with florists and the bakery, but really loved helping to bring people together kind of in the same spirit I did with legislature, doing on the wedding scale. It's just, you're bringing together two families. So I slipped and tripped and fell into South Asian weddings. Don't even know how that happened. I think one of the first luxury weddings I did was an Indian wedding in North Indian, South Asian. So it was a fusion. And that's what I advertised. So I put that out there on my website. It was the most beautiful picture I've ever had with a wedding. And people kept coming to me and saying, "Oh, I see you do Indian weddings." And I said, "Oh, yeah, I guess I do." So we've been doing that for several years now. It's so we primarily focus on fusion weddings, people of different cultures coming together. We've got a lot of that in California. Definitely miss Detroit will always be at my heart, but it's a different entrepreneurial vibe that I feel like I fit in really well here. So yeah, our company, we've got several planners underneath me, but I am the owner and lead designer, and I call myself a logistics queen of fusion weddings. I'm sure anyone who's ever done a Chinese wedding or Persian wedding or a Nigerian wedding knows that there's just some, in South Asian weddings, there's some nuances there. So that's kind of on my niche with that.
I love it. I bet. And I didn't know about your political background. So like you said, just those logistics transitioned you right into the wedding and event industry perfectly. So awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like working for a senator and having to support and give input on what his schedule is really kind of opened me up to, you can get a lot of things done if you just plan for them.
Sure.
And we were the family that I grew up that my dad would have us at the airport 2.5 hours early before there was any requirement for that.
Yes.
You have a plan, you show up ready, and he used to call it being ready for sudden change. And so that's a big part of working in politics is you're always prepared with a message. You're always prepared, to work with people and bring them together. So with the wedding and with events, I found that to be the most important thing is having a plan. So yeah.
Absolutely. So, how did you get into styled shoots?
Oh, yes, this is a good question.
Okay.
So I think with wedding planning and when people are starting, I grew up in the wedding industry before Pinterest,
Mhm.
before Instagram. There was a time before that, loves
Yes.
like that. There was a
Yes.
time
Yes.
before people didn't plan their whole wedding on their phone on their lunch break.
Right.
Um, and so I would always have these ideas of what I wanted to do to decorate or to inspire my clients at the very beginning of my career and really couldn't explain them. Like
Mhm.
I look for pictures, whether it be in a magazine or online, Googling certain wedding pictures or going on Yahoo. That's kind of a thing that was going on then. There wasn't the ideas I had, I didn't see. And so when I first moved out here to California, I was really deep, actually deep into the sorority because that's where I was able to reconnect with other women like me in the community. And one of my sorority sisters in my chapter, I'll never forget, she worked for State Farm and she's always going to these health fairs and she wanted her table to be different and special. She says, I want something that no one's ever seen before. So I came up with some ideas and here we are in this health fair with her State Farm, table, but it was decked out in red. And, I had a Christmas tree on it and just thought of things that I didn't see the other tables were doing. And I happened to meet, the editor of Habasha Brides just happened to be at another table for her job. And we just started talking. And she's like, I love how you did this. And I was like, yeah, I just want to do something no one's ever seen before. And she suggested that I should do a style shoot. And she needed a styled shoot to show different designs of Habasha weddings for her blog. And so she was kind of taught me how to do different scenes and how we would use the pictures. And I really just, in that situation, it was going to be published right away onto Habasha Brides. But I also really got excited that I could come up with this idea that I didn't have a client, I was the client. I didn't have to worry about the client's budget, but I could also get some creatives together and being new to the area, get to work with people I hadn't worked with before.
Mhm.
So I got hooked.
Yeah.
And I had never done a style shoot before, but she told me we needed 4 different scenes. And I
Mhm.
was like, okay. So kind of getting sucked into that and not having any other understanding of what it was, I just really saw it as an opportunity. It's basically like a fake wedding,
Yeah.
where you get couple, you get a dress, you get all the vendors. And it was just such an amazing experience. I wanted to do it again.
Yeah, absolutely. And so as a result, well, let's just talk style shoots, like the definition. What's the purpose of them? You kind of alluded to it, but for those who are listening or watching, tell us really what the purpose of a style shoot is.
I think it's multiple purposes. It can be. I think as business owners, we're always looking for ROI and what our return of investment is going to be. Oftentimes, you'll see styled shoots if you've seen magazines like The Knot and Brides. They've got these beautiful pictures that they'll often call editorials that don't come from a real wedding, but they're meant to be inspiration.
Right.
So, as a florist, as a decorator, as a designer, you can come up with an idea to share with the world that maybe we haven't seen before. So it's a fake wedding or
Yeah.
a fake experience.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, you want to have a table set up, you want to have a ceremony set up, and really a concept that you're showing to other couples or other wedding professionals of a concept or idea that to inspire them to do more.
Yeah, and like you said, prior to Pinterest and Instagram, where else? I know that I grew up from the age of 16, and my Sans will tell you I'd be in bookstores and I'm in the magazine section flipping through bridal magazines looking
Yes.
for the latest fashions, decor, etc. And so now on top of that, brides and grooms have the opportunity to look at these styled shoots for
Mhm.
inspiration. So
Yes. And I think inspiration for others is a really big one. For me, the return on investment is getting to work in either a venue or with pros I haven't worked with before. Like we're going to collaborate. It'll be the first time we get to work together.
Yes.
And I think it's just the best way to learn and build business relationships in the wedding industry.
Absolutely, which is so important. And you see also that some of the posts, like real wedding posts, they list all of the vendors, right? Because you need to know that this was a collaboration. A wedding is a
Yes.
production,
Yes.
not just one person to credit, right?
And it takes everyone. I
Yeah,
mean, I love sharing credit with those who are part of the team because we cannot do it alone. The more, the merrier.
that's right.
If we're all striving for the same goal, hopefully, is to make the couple happy. So yes, you definitely need a team with wedding planning. I think another really great ROI outside of building relationships is you can get published, and we say that there are these wedding blogs, magazines still, and just sharing your content that it's put on a larger platform for potential couples to see. And so that's kind of another great big deal. So I look for those three things: an opportunity to be creative, partnering with those I haven't partnered before. And then, of course, you're getting this earned media, which is kind of, I think, comes from my political background, that you can do something amazing and tell people about it. And then the marketing happens automatically for you.
Absolutely. So share with us, you did a recent photo shoot that was based off, and I don't know if it's Bridgerton or Bridgerton,
Yes.
um, but describe what was your inspiration besides just the series, though.
Yeah.
Put your own spin on it, but what motivated you for that shoot?
Well, as you can see, I'm wearing purple.
Yes,
My whole aesthetic, my whole vibe for my branding is royalty.
of course.
And even yes, I went through it like everybody else. I went through rebranding.
Yes.
My original business was D Royal Engagements, which actually really stems from our college days. We had this whole royal family in our sorority of royal vibes. So I really kind of latched on to that. But my mom always called me Princess. And actually, the first movie she ever took me to see was Purple Rain by Prince. And so I think being an Aquarius and having amethyst and my mom brainwashing me to love Prince at a young age, kind of all that royal purple kind of got sucked into. Whenever I see the color purple, I feel joy. So that's always a part of my styled shoots, is to have that royal purple connection. We did a Black Panther styled shoot up in Oakland. Couldn't miss that opportunity. But if you remember from the movie, there's this purple flower. And I was like, oh my goodness.
Mhm.
And we had the Habasha as far as Ethiopian Eritrean king and queen vibe as part of. So just kind of always bringing that in. So when Bridgerton came out,
Mhm.
I was just over the moon with how much, I love anything period drama.
Mhm.
And there was people of color in this story.
Yes.
So I was thinking of a Black queen, and it just, that inspired me too. In color,
Yeah.
all of the outfits in that show, they're purposefully done that people have different colors and things like that. So really, definitely Bridgerton, but then our own little royal vibe kind of inspired us.
Absolutely. Are there any other shoots that you've done that someone's contacted you and they're like, I need this vision for my wedding?
The Black Panther really did the colors, the vibrance. I think that year, the color of the year was ultraviolet, so just kind of fit.
Okay.
But we now have been attracting clients that want purple weddings. It is not. So when you see us doing a lot of purple weddings, clients are finding us. Like I literally have a couple, South Asian couple, who is wearing crowns at the reception. I had a client about a couple of years ago that they wanted all purple.
Mhm.
So it just, I think we're just attracting that, and it's inspiring our clients. I think another styled shoot, we did an Aquaman styled shoot. We really love comics. So it's like, and
What,
just that vibrance of color. But
yeah.
yeah, Black
What,
Panther is the biggest one so far.
and you're really speaking to, you're in California, so something
Mhm.
else might speak to those in the Midwest, or those in the Midwest might see what you're doing out there and want it here, and it can be done, right? So, because we have social media to be able to share those images.
And
So,
that's what I loved, like even reaching out to you and seeing that you're in my chapter, and you paved the way there and
mhm,
doing things in Detroit. I think for me, meeting others across the country and just talking about, okay, what's going on in Detroit? What's the vibe there, and how can I get inspired by others?
yeah.
But yeah, I love that that social media really lets people see our ideas across the country.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, what's some of the best advice you give your couples, your fusion weddings, or any wedding couple? Let's say a couple's watching this for the first time, they're just starting the journey. What's the best advice you could give them?
Well, obviously, I know you probably say the same, is to hire hire a planner
Right,
or
right.
day of coordinator I call it day of coordination because I consider it that you do the planning and we coordinate the day. And I consider a planner as someone who steps in and really helps you find the wedding pro team and structure the work for the wedding.
Yeah.
But I'm also a designer, so I can help people put together a vision so the wedding feels like them. But definitely hire a wedding planner, hire professionals. You
Yes.
know, if you're hiring friends, if they're professional in their field, I feel like that's okay because they know you, but hire people who, the learning curve with wedding planning is pretty steep. It's okay to not know what to do, but there's people who can support you. I think that's the biggest thing. And then also, I tend to do a lot of my clients tend to be really type A and detail oriented. That's my niche. That's who I love to work with.
Mhm.
Um, Allow somebody else to take the reins so you can live in the moment. I think that's the biggest thing, is not only finding that team to support you, but getting them understanding that you're going to have to trust them so you can actually enjoy the wedding.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing all of that.
Thank
We're
you.
really just, I shouldn't say we, but I'm just really getting into style shoots. I have so many ideas, but it's all
Mhm.
about the time as well. But yeah, I have things that I'm inspired by that I would love to do. So I know this,
Oh, one more piece of advice
yeah, for
for
sure.
couples and for wedding pros.
Yes.
I for styled shoots, I tend to use my current or past couples as models. And
Yes.
I feel like this is the great tie-in because I feel like as couples having that experience of working with your photographer or working with a photographer prior to the wedding day, the whole getting ready, that whole vibe is just I don't know, it's priceless. And
Yes.
understanding that, so when you go into your real wedding, you have that experience of how long it's going to take, how you're going to feel, how to last a 12-hour day and look fabulous and get ready to pose. I think that that's a really big takeaway for couples. And then for the wedding pros, I think if you're offering especially photographers or even the wedding planner, I will often help, depending on the level of service, I'll help arrange the engagement session, because that's another opportunity for us all to work together, being
Yes.
the wedding pros, but then also the couple to feel that too. So yeah, sorry, I just interrupted. It's like that's my
No,
favorite big one.
no, I think, and that's awesome. Yeah, because then you don't have to worry about the jitters. They already know. They already,
Yes, like kiss in front of me if the photographer says, and you're like, I don't, I don't know you, but you want us to kiss in front of you. It's kind
right.
of a
Yeah,
get over that awkward vibe is really helpful.
that's great advice. Great advice. I'm so looking forward to our collaboration.
I can't wait.
I can't wait either. So those of you that are following the podcast, you just have to wait. But it's something very, very big, and we're excited. And thank you for including me, because again, this was your vision. You wanted to come back home, and so I just appreciate the opportunity to be able to collaborate. So
It's been fantastic. I'm super excited. I feel like just like I would advise hiring professionals. You're the professional of Detroit. So to come in and work with you and Brandy, I just feel like it's a blessing because you all know what you know, and and us just coming together is just going to be so good. So I'm excited.
so good, so excited. So let everyone know how they can reach out to
Sure.
you, follow you on social media. So if you would give all of your website and social media accounts.
Yes, fantastic. So our Instagram is Denise Lillie Engagements. Our website is deniselillie.com. And essentially, if you are interested in our services or want to learn more or even get some support or coaching on South Asian weddings, you can do our link in bio. And we have a little link tree. You can book an appointment with us directly or find out more about our services. But yes, thank you, Lori.
No, thank you so much for your time. So excited. I mean, I know I'll be seeing you very, very soon, but
Yes.
appreciate you coming on, being a guest. And for those of you that are listening or watching, thank you for supporting the podcast. Make sure to give us a thumbs up, leave us a comment, reach out to Denise, reach out to me, follow us on social media. We're always giving all kinds of information. And so we just appreciate you being a supporter of the podcast. And until next time, be well.